You're not rich. So why do you need an estate plan? Well, today in our financial freedom video, I am going to tell you why everyone should consider having an estate plan done. So stay locked in. Hi, my name is Carson Graves, certified financial planner and president and CEO of the Retirement Education Center.
And my name is Andrea Graves, Director of Operations at the Retirement Education Center. For additional concepts on how to maximize your retirement, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to be notified when we upload new videos. Carson, most people feel that getting an estate plan costs millions of dollars, but you feel like everyone could benefit from one, right?
I absolutely do. We recently got our estate plan done this year, and we had always been planning on doing it, but we kept doing what, of course, I always say we shouldn't do, and that's procrastinating. But we're in our mid-40s, so we didn't wait too long. Some people wait a lot longer than that to actually consider getting an estate plan done. And many people, of course, do not get an estate plan done because, like you said, Andrea, they feel like they do need millions of dollars in order to do that. We certainly don't have millions of dollars lying around. Of course, someday we hope we can, and maybe we will someday. But nevertheless, we got our estate done for practical reasons. And so that is what we're going to be talking about today in our financial freedom video. But before we get into that, there are 2 rules to retirement income that we like to give you. And Andrea, what are those 2 rules?
Well, rule number 1 is to never run out of money, and rule number 2 is to never forget rule number 1.
Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into our lesson today and talk about what are the essentials or the building blocks that you need to think about when it comes to you getting an estate plan done.
Now, Carson, as you mentioned, we just got our estate plan done this year, but why do you feel that other people should get theirs done as well?
Yeah, well, I can say this, if you don't mind your family fighting over a lamp or grandma's cookbook, or maybe you don't mind getting the attorneys paid by having your estate tied up into probate and having all of that court costs, or if you don't mind your kids at the age of 18 getting tens and even hundreds or maybe even millions of dollars, if you don't mind that ideal of those scenarios, then I would say, Andrea, you don't need to get an estate plan done. But if you fear the fact that your child at 18 may not know how to deal with tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you don't want your estate to be tied up into probate, or if you don't want your family fighting over things that are negligible, if you don't like the ideal of those scenarios, Andrea, then I would definitely say that an estate plan would be for anyone. So I will highly advise those of you who don't want those scenarios or those outcomes to talk to a qualified estate attorney.
So Carson, when you put it that way, it's very obvious that people do need to consider getting an estate plan, but it could be very time consuming, it could be very intimidating and very confusing. So how do you get your clients to realize that maybe this is something they should consider?
Well, those are all valid points that you're making for sure. And you do at times have to get people out of their own way. So let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. An estate plan can absolutely be all of those things, Andrea. Cost is usually the most prohibitive thing that keeps people from doing an estate plan. But when you're looking at getting an estate plan, the prices range from anywhere from free to thousands of dollars. So yes, it can be intimidating with all of those variables in between, but that is why, we have a network of attorneys that we work through that we can send our clients to in order for them to get a proper ideal about what their estate plan may cost. When we completed our estate plan, as you know, we went through this exact same network. And so you want to look at all of your options out there. But if you're working with a qualified financial advisor, hopefully your advisor have some connections that they can actually give you in order to make sure that you can actually align yourself with a proper estate attorney to help you understand what's best for you. Because yes, you can get a free estate plan online or from some other resource, but a lot of times you can get what you pay for. But that doesn't mean that you have to go out and pay $5,000 or $6,000 in order to have an estate plan completed either. So if you are looking to get an estate plan done and you don't have someone who's giving you proper directions on where to go, do not hesitate to reach out to our office so that we can perhaps get you connected to an estate attorney in your area.
So Carson, for people who've never considered even thinking about getting an estate plan or maybe too intimidated by it, what are some of the essential things that they need to think about in order to get that process started?
Yes, it's really important that people do understand the important building blocks of having an estate plan. Obviously, you must speak to an estate attorney. We are not estate attorneys and we do not play one on TV, but you need to make sure that someone can get you in touch with a qualified estate attorney so you can understand what you need. And you need to understand the differences between a will and a trust. A lot of times people go into estate planning and they understand or have heard of these terms, but they really don't quite understand how to differentiate between the two. Some people believe that if they have a will, all things are good. And a will is okay. A will can be perfectly fine. It's probably the most simplest thing you can actually do for your estate to make sure that you do have some sort of outlines of where things are going to go when you pass away. So a will is actually good. It's legitimate. It's legally binding. And so if you want that lamp to go to your son and you want the car to go to your daughter, a will could suffice for that particular situation. But unfortunately, a will can be probated. So it can be a costly endeavor if you have a family that's fighting. That's where a trust can come into play. So you need to make sure that if you're going to want to maybe tighten up your estate and you can speak from the grave and you don't want your 18-year-old son or daughter to come into grips of tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars upon your passing, that is where a trust is going to be a very important tool to have in your estate planning, because a trust can determine when that child can really have access to those dollars. You can set parameters of that child getting some funds at 18, some funds at 25 like we did, some at 30. You can have other stipulations like they don't get funds until they either graduate from college. If you have a problem child, you can have stipulations in the trust that indicates that they cannot have any access to those funds until they are sober. So these are very important traits of a trust that a will does not have the flexibility of doing. Two other things that you must understand when it comes to building an estate plan or having the building blocks of a good estate plan is knowing the difference between a healthcare power of attorney and a financial power of attorney. Now, we can get these things totally free for our clients, but they are different. A healthcare power of attorney will allow someone to determine what your medical needs will be if you are incapacitated and can no longer decide for yourself. So if you don't want to be on that breathing tube, or if you want someone to make that decision for you to not expand your life, then a healthcare power of attorney is going to be a tool that you're going to want to have in place, and you're going to want to have someone who's capable of making those decisions in a very emotional time. Now, when it comes to a financial power of attorney, it's different. This is going to be someone who you trust that can handle your financial affairs if you become incapacitated. So if you need someone to make sure that they can balance your checkbook, pay the bills, make sure you don't get behind on your finances, then you're going to need a financial power of attorney to be in place in order to make sure that you have those things outlined. And the last building block of an estate plan that you must have in place is a good life insurance plan. Because life insurance is going to be there when you pass away to provide liquidity for your estate. Now, if you also have any debts, final funeral expenses, those sorts of things, life insurance is going to be there to take care of that and leave your family with the peace of mind of knowing that they don't have to go out and scramble and sell some of the illiquid assets in your estate in order to pay for those things. So if you're looking at building a solid estate plan, those are the essentials that people must know about in order to make sure that they're comfortable that when they pass away, the things that you have will go to the loved ones in their proper manner.
So Carson, what is the moral of this video?
Well, the moral of this video that I hope that I conveyed is that regardless of your wealth, if you want to avoid family fights, if you want to avoid expensive probate court, and if you want to determine how your assets will be transferred to the people that you love, everyone should be considering getting an estate plan.
Well, Carson, thank you again for your insight on this topic, and thank you for watching. And if you felt this information was beneficial, please like this video and share with others.
Please understand that these videos are created for educational purposes only, and that you should always seek out your own financial advisor, your own tax advisor, and your own attorney regarding your personal situation. Also, if you are looking for an independent fiduciary advisor to help you with these types of complex financial matters, we highly recommend that you utilize the links in our description below and go ahead and schedule a 1-hour free consultation with us today.
After this video, please check out our other videos that will give you tips on how to maximize your retirement. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share it with a friend. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you have questions,
We have answers.